Thank you, Pastor Kessler. We're going to move on to A3, call to order. I call this Huntington County Community Schools Board of Trustees meeting for February 2nd, 2026. And move on to A4, roll call. Mrs. Gray.
Mr. Allen?
Here.
Mr. McClellan?
Here.
Mr. Melcher?
Here.
Mr. Wall?
Here.
Mrs. Miller? Here. Mr. Thompson?
Here.
Thank you, Mrs. Gray. Moving on to A5, are there any revisions to the agenda? Mr. Brimberry?
Mr. Allen, we have no revisions to the agenda tonight.
Very good. On to items for visitors' public comment. If anyone would like to come forward and address the board. I do have one person signed up, Mandy Barnum, if you would like to come forward.
Good evening. I am Mandy Barnum. I'm co-president of the Teachers Union, John Bourdeaux's vice president. We're here to just give you just a general idea of what educators are thinking and the qualities we're searching for or hoping for in a new superintendent. First, we want a superintendent with recent elementary and secondary administrative experience. Educators value a leader who understands both sides of the system. Someone who has served as an administrator and has done so within the last 5 years. We need a superintendent who understands today's classrooms, today's staffing challenges, and today's expectations, not from a distance, but from real, recent experience. Second, we want a superintendent who is invested in HCCS for the long term. This district needs stability. Educators overwhelmingly value a leader who is committed to staying in Huntington County for at least 5 years, who sees this role not as a stepping stone, but as a long-term commitment to our students, staff, and community. Third, we want a superintendent dedicated to creating strong connections to the Huntington community. We believe that means being visible, involved, and genuinely part of the community, building relationships with families, staff, and local partners. A superintendent who understands Huntington, its values, and its people will make better decisions for our schools. Fourth, we want a superintendent with strong school finance and organizational experience. Running a district requires sound operational and office experience, as well as the ability to receive and give constructive feedback. Educators want a leader who listens, reflects, and responds, someone who uses feedback to strengthen systems rather than dismiss concerns. Fifth, we want a superintendent with a clear vision and strong knowledge of education law and policy. We need a leader who understands policy, protects discussion rights, and I wanted just to explain what that means. Here in our district, which is it's no longer enforced by law, but here in our district, there has been a mutual respect between administration and educators. So we have continued the practice of having open dialogue between administration and teachers on a monthly basis, both at the school level and at the district level. And we really would like someone who wants to continue that open dialogue. We want a superintendent who applies rules equitably across the district, building strong relationships, leading with empathy, and ensuring consistency and discipline are essential for trust and stability. We want a superintendent who is concerned with working conditions, school safety, and curriculum, because those are top priorities for us. Those are not separate issues. They directly impact student learning and educator retention. A strong superintendent understands that safe schools and supportive working conditions create better outcomes for students. Finally, we want a superintendent who believes in accountability. Educators value clear oversight of administration, transparent decision-making, and consistent expectations at every level of the district. Accountability builds trust, and trust builds strong schools. Ultimately, we're not asking for perfection. We are asking for a continued partnership. We want a superintendent who believes public education is a public good, who respects educators as professionals, and who understands that students thrive when leadership is stable, fair, empathetic, and accountable. Thank you so much for your time tonight. We appreciate the opportunity to share our thoughts.
Thank you, Mrs. Barnum, Mr. Bordeaux. Thank you guys very much. Anyone else wish to come forward and address the board? Knowing you haven't come forward, we will go ahead and move on to item C1, School Board Appreciation.
Mr. Allen, we've had, because we were delayed a little bit, it was supposed to be in January, which is the month of School Board Appreciation, and got moved to February 2nd, but we've got 3 groups that would like to say thank you. From Roanoke Elementary, I believe you have a bag of goodies on your table, and I appreciate their thought. This is, it's been interesting to watch School Board Appreciation in Huntington the past 4 years. In previous districts and past experience, the amount of people who have come forward in Huntington is far larger in terms of they appreciate what you do, they appreciate how you do it with professionalism, and they openly thank you for that. So another group that has wanted to send their thanks is from Salamone. Student council kids put together a basket of sunshine treats in honor of the school board for this month of appreciation. Could you please make sure that they get their treat drink and their cards from us? And that is also from Melinda Huber down at Salamone, so we thank them. And finally, Mrs. Kanzler is here tonight with some of her students, and I believe they have something in those purple bags out there. So if you kids would like to come forward and present those to the board. And board, if Mr. Allen, if you're okay, I'd like to get a picture with the board and the kids tonight. So, thank you. I get it. Congratulations. You guys. No worries.
Just down to your side, okay? Yep. Or do we want to do one of these? What's more comfortable? You good with that? That's right, faster. Let's take a bunch here. All lights are open.
Thank you to our students and Ms. Kanzler for coming forward tonight.
My name is Foster Williams, and I'm a senior here at HNHS. Even though I'm a senior, I've been going through the Huntington North hallway since I've been in 3rd grade because all my older siblings have been in extracurriculars thanks to the board. Morning crew has been around since my freshman year, and it used to be less. It wasn't a crew, it was more people just trying to find a way to spend time before first period. It was just show choir kids hanging out. And throughout those 4 years, it has now become an entire club. We have leaders, we have shirts, we host prayers for those who need it, we give blessings to those who need blessed, and we give thanks to those who don't get thanked enough, such as the board and our bus drivers, and we have many more later on. I have been a member of extracurriculars here at Huntington North for a massed sum of 16 years. I have been with the band, the marching band, for 8 years, and I've been a member for 3 of it. And I was a member and associated with show choir for 8, and I've been a leader for 3. And I just wanted to be here to make sure you guys know we appreciate you, and thank you for keeping all of these extracurricular activities afloat.
Thank you.
I'm short, so I'm just going to sit on my tippy toes. Okay. You know what? Okay. My name is Carly Maddox. I'm a senior at Huntington North, and I just wanted to talk to you about how thankful we are that you allow us to use our freedom of speech in circumstances like this year. We've had some tragedies this year with some sickness going around. As you might know, Grace Anderson has been battling with a few brain tumors, so we have collectively as a morning crew and plus some other kids who heard it over the announcements or saw it on our Instagram, like little updates that we give out. They come and they pray over Grace. There's also other instances like the young man who just passed away named Adley. We also prayed over his family and that whole situation. So we just want to thank you for allowing us to get together and be one body, because truly that is how we uplift and support other people. So thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Emma Working, and I'm just here to thank you guys for allowing us to show who we really are and letting us just be ourselves, because if we weren't able to, then I don't think this group would have been here. So thank you for just your unwavering support and your willingness to be open to our ideas and to letting us come in early and do things like that. So just thank you for letting us be us.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for the gifts.
We also have this weird thing where we do 3D printed things. So we have turtles. What are their names? Henderson and Henrietta. We have turtle. It's just fun. I don't know. So.
Thank you.
Mr. Allen, there is one more group that wanted to thank the board. I believe we have cards here from Andrews Elementary as well. So well represented by the schools, and I appreciate our students being here tonight. Ms. Kanzler, you're an impressive group, and the more that we can get our students in front of our community and our board, showing who we are in Huntington, it just makes me extremely grateful and proud to be here. So thank you all for showing up tonight and what you do. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We feel blessed, really do. That is, it's a wonderful gift. Coming out and speaking in front of us takes a little courage as well. So thanks for taking the time. Appreciate that. Board members, anything further for them? We're going to move on then to D1, Viking Neighbor Network Proposal and MOU.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me present this to you. So I'm just here to present the Viking Neighbor Network, something that's been kind of in the works for the last couple of years. John Gear had a brilliant idea and then left me and came to the school system. And so I was left to work on this by myself until I proposed this to Dr. Deggets, and he welcomed this idea with open arms. We both believe that it will offer the students far more than it demands from administrators. That's a plus. Community building is the main focus of the work that I do for the city as the community engagement volunteer coordinator. And this Viking Neighbor Network idea falls into that really, really well. So this collaboration allows us to work with Huntington North to meet the needs of our community, caring for those who need help the most. The other organizations that are involved in this are like United with Love, Council on Aging, Pathfinder, and they're going to help us locate people around the city and in the area who are eligible for this kind of help that we're offering. The main offering is going to be basically taking care of sidewalks, making sure they're clear of grass and debris, snow and ice. Because of this, our citation officer, who could not be here tonight, Chris Daniels, is really supportive of this, and he's going to be helping us on his end as well. Other needs like brush cleanup, leaf litter removal, and other small jobs can be done as well by these kids. So, next slide, please. Thank you. So, opting into the program for those receiving help will happen via the use of a Google form that's being sent around by the Council on Aging and many other nonprofits around town. We will continue the use of that particular form until the end of May. Opting into the program for the high school students will happen primarily through the registration process. We hope to bring a high level of awareness to the program through educating the counselors, parents, and students well by the end of spring. Having the opportunity for service hours directly affects students' qualifications for diploma seals and requirements for clubs like the National Honor Society, Rotary Interact, and the JROTC program. Students will keep track of their service hours for the Viking Neighbor Network and log them in their homerooms each week. Those homeroom hours will be shared with administration and myself. From there, we will hold our monthly reward parties for the winning homerooms. Next slide, please. While I think that we would all agree that students rarely need more to do, that whatever the more is that they're doing needs to be useful to themselves and other people. The Viking Neighbor Network is something that has a possibility of fostering a sense of community for the students as well as for those they serve. Volunteerism, as you know, is a wonderful way to connect with people we might not otherwise encounter, shifting our worldview and helping us grow compassion and help stave off negative criticism. It will help students see outside their own needs and help them learn to see the needs of others as valid and worthy of their time and effort. We realize that there are going to be hiccups, and we're hoping to avoid most of those. Students will be paired up while working. They will have identifying caps on that will look something like this, if not this exactly, for those who are driving by to identify them, as well as the homeowners that are inside their homes. And they will not enter the homes of homeowners. The MOU that I believe that you have access to between the city, the school, and other participating organizations is ready for signing. Thank you for considering this collaboration and its benefits to the students of Huntington North High School. Are there any questions?
Question, go ahead.
So who's going to oversee?
Who will oversee it?
Yes.
So that will be a collaboration. I will, like I said, the hours will be reported back to the homeroom teachers. While in real time, no one's going to oversee the kids. So the students will be assigned people. The way I understand it, Kenny Butler and I will be working on communication so that we know that the students will be on site at the time. Chris Daniels, if he's available, will do a drive-by and check on the kids. I apologize, students. So there could be multiple people checking in on them, and there also could be no people checking on them. The awareness would be just us knowing that they are there, and also just knowing that they know the rules.
Okay.
So.
I like the idea. I think it's a great way for kids to get hours, because I know that is, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that fact, that they need those, especially if they're looking to go and further in their education. And giving back, I think, always feels a lot better than you know until you do it. And so it's great to encourage that in this way. I really appreciate this.
Thanks.
And the collaboration, too, makes it even better, I believe.
I hope so.
Anything further? Any other questions? Ken or Ryan? All right, then. I will entertain a motion, reference this item.
A motion to approve the Viking Neighborhood Network Memorandum of Understanding as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Melcher. Is there a second? Thank you, Mr. McClellan. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, let's vote on that motion.
Mr. Allen, we are going to move to a roll call vote so that we can get everybody,
Oh,
our people
okay.
that are on virtual as well.
Sure.
So give me one moment here. Start with Mr. Allen.
Yes.
Mr. McClellan. Mr. Melcher.
Yes.
Mr. Wall,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller, Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you, Mrs. Gray. Motion passes 6-0. Thank you two very much for your efforts. We will move on to D2, 2026-2027 Student Handbooks. I think we have a wide array of talented administrators.
Each year at this time, we present to you the proposed changes to our student handbook. This will be for the 26-27 school year. We have three outstanding leaders with us that have spearheaded these changes. Salamone Principal Elizabeth Kitchen will present the elementary student handbook. Our Crestview Principal Rachel Yarger will present the middle school handbook proposed changes, and the Huntington North High School Assistant Principal Stephanie Rogers is here to present the high school handbook changes. And this will be a first reading. The second reading will be on February 23rd board meeting. We'll ask for your approval for those proposed changes. And so we're going to ask these ladies at each level to share. And then once we're completed with the handbook, student handbooks, then we're going to ask Mrs. Kitchen to come back and talk about the High Ability Program handbook that she has put in place. So Mrs. Kitchen, elementary handbook proposed changes.
Okay, good evening. I don't normally have to lower a mic. This is new for me. Okay, so elementary handbook. So the things in green are the things that I have added. We've added, and the gray was omitted. So at the very beginning, I worked on the mission and the vision and changed that to reflect our strategic planning. And then the formatting and fonts were all streamlined and put back together. That was a lift. Whew. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the book, tell you what we've got, and then if you have any questions at the end, does that work? Okay, so page 3, I just updated the administrator to Chuck Brimberry as interim superintendent. And then the central office pages, updated the table of contents, so that goes to 4 through 7. Then page 11, honor roll, used to be in the newspaper, so I eliminated newspaper. Now it's going just to be going through Parent Square, through that piece of it. And also on page 11, we also talked about NWA being used as a tool for retentions, and we will no longer use that as well. Page 12, parent-teacher conferences. We changed that to match our current practices. Page 13, breakfast and lunch, revised also to match our current practice. And our current practice is no visitors allowed during breakfast and or lunch. That needed changed in there. Page 14, for visitors and volunteers, that also is revised to match our current practice that all volunteers must have a yearly updated limited criminal history check. And so every year that has to happen, and that also has to happen with our volunteers and any visitors that would like to be in our buildings. Page 19, and I apologize to you, on page 19, that should be in green. That's my fail there, but I will make sure you understand that this was something added to it. And this is the notice of civil rights compliance and notice of non-discrimination. And the language is proposed in order to increase the student and parent awareness of the school's anti-discrimination obligations, including inclusion of individual disabilities and discrimination-compliant procedures. And that was added per Beth Husband. Page 20, also the discipline policy for students with disabilities was added. Page 24, corrected a typo from 5th to 5th, the number 5 th to the word 5th. Keep going, page 30. Tardies was revised. Tardies other than the student's arrival to school will be handled by the school secretary at the guidance of the building administrator. That is what's been has been changed to before. It sounded more like a secondary piece, but now it's more of an elementary piece. All right. Page 34, maintenance of school plant. I took the word plant out, so it just says maintenance of school. Page 45. I added use of electronic games. I added the word iPads there because of our iPads that we use at the elementary level. Continuing on to page 67, I changed the elementary iPad damage repair and replacement date change for next school year for October 31st, 2026. Page 68, iPad use at home revised to match our current practice with digital citizenship. So our students actually get to take home their iPads as soon as they complete the digital citizenship piece. And then, that's it for elementary. Any questions for elementary handbook? And when I say I honestly need to say the other elementary principals and other stakeholders actually looked through this as well. So it wasn't just a me project, so.
That was actually going to be my question, exactly who gets
I
together and
shouldn't say I should
organizes
say
it.
the.
I understand, yeah.
Elementary,
that's fine.
other elementary
Yeah.
principals. I just got to present it.
You get to tell us about it, so there you go.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Any questions there?
So, Ryan, I have a question. Unless Mr. Peters has changed his mind, do we need to update that, or how late do we have to go
Well,
until?
I wasn't allowing him to leave, so
That's fine with me.
thank you, Ryan, for pointing that out to me. I will make sure that's fixed, and
Yeah,
yes, I just leave
but
it. But that's
do we have
not-
a deadline on getting some of that done? Is it, we're not printing these anymore. Is it just electronic, or how does that process go out? I guess I'm just looking for the final process.
It will be online because we have to post it online. I think it could be I don't know if that would be a vote after you retire and replace him. So I don't know how that,
Okay. But it wouldn't be a substantive change. That would just be a technical change. I would consider that, so.
correct.
And certainly the board doc will have these changes in
Yes.
it for anyone to see and read, since we are going with the first reading and the second one when we approve it. So I think that answers most of the questions. People can access it.
Online.
Second
access.
question, has legal counsel reviewed this to make sure that we're in compliance with any possible legal updates that might need to do that?
Special education, I know, has.
Yes, Ryan, legal counsel also reviews, and in addition to that, before the second reading, a final draft will go to our council. But I also tell the board during this process, we have, and I think it's a huge positive for the district, a couple of our parents have reached out for consideration of a couple changes as well. I'll have that legal counsel advice tomorrow on their questions on handbooks. So we are getting community input. Once the process takes place, then it goes back. Legal counsel will also review this before I bring it back to you. Mr. Peters and I bring it back to you 23rd, I guess, 23rd.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Peters, anything to add?
I was just going to say, when we update the handbooks, we usually do that this time of the year because we're also getting ready for online registration for the 26-27 school year. So we bring these to you now for a first reading, and then any adjustments we'll make, we'll bring for the second reading. But then those will go into our online registration where parents will actually click on that and acknowledge that they have seen and read that handbook. So it may have the J. Peters' name in there at the time, or we can, there may be an option to leave that, and then we can put the name in there, whomever would replace Jay at that time.
And
So
Mr.
it'll be
Peters, you
digital.
are aware that if we can't get all that done in a timely manner, you would be back with us next year.
Oh, okay. Well, let me consider that. But we can
Thank
make
you,
those
sir. I
revisions,
thought there was
guys.
a
Once,
reason you were
if
doing
that,
it
if
this
that,
tonight,
those name
so.
changes, once everyone is in place, then we bring that back to you, I would assume, for those, for that vote, the correction. Yes.
Thank you. Mrs. Yarger.
Okay, so I'm representing the middle school. I'm Rachel Yarger, the principal at Crestview. And so I worked with Randy Hawkins, the assistant principal, and then the administration at Riverview as well, Ms. Wapas and Mr. Baker. And then we took this all through HCTA as well. Overall, there's not huge updates for you, but just some improving clarity and consistency among the three levels to make sure that our daily operations and safety are running smoothly. So we have three main sections: general information, discipline, and then student services. So in the first section, so everything that you see in the handbook that is in red is either changed or different. There were some typos in there that are highlighted. I'm not going to go through all those little ones, but the first major thing was in the breakfast and lunch program. So this was added by the Director of Food Service, Mr. Burgess, just to clarify that students will continue to receive breakfast and lunch regardless of their account balance. It also clarifies that breakfast is not served during 2-hour delay days. The media release section is revised to match the district high school language, and it just clarifies that the handbook acknowledgement that the parents sign off on at registration allows the district to share non-disciplinary student information for school-related promotion. We took out our student council section. It's still an extracurricular opportunity, but it was the only one listed in there, so it felt a little out of place. So we still offer it. It just didn't need to be in the handbook. And then attendance was updated to reflect the new Indiana Code 2018-226-5. The intervention language was previously just for K-6, and now it's through grade 12. So we just changed the language to match that. The next section was bus information and discipline. So this one was added from Mrs. Fields, the Director of Transportation. Bus policy 5.03T, prohibiting the use of electronic devices to photograph, record, or cause disruption on the bus. We also had the updates that the elementary did for the bullying, harassment, sexual and other forms of harassment, civil rights, and the FERPA, where the language is proposed in order to increase student and parent awareness of the school's anti-discrimination obligations, including inclusion of individual disabilities and discrimination complaint procedures. The next section was drinks, and it's just clarifying that we only permit water during school hours. Dress code, we did a little updating to this where footwear, it used to be that they had to have backs on their shoes. We're eliminating that requirement. The hair color restriction is removed, and we will not permit blankets in classrooms as well. The last addition to the discipline section was a change in the matrix for the consequences for the tobacco, paraphernalia, and electronic smoking devices. We aligned this to the high school guidelines and changed it from 2 days to up to 5 days in the tobacco ticket. So that is in alignment with the high school as well. And then the last section is the student service section. So the attendance and conduct eligibility section, we just updated the wording so that it reflects final forms, because the middle schools are using final forms now like the high school does. We added the change in address of phone, and just that I think the elementary had this in their handbook as well, so we kind of stole it from them, that we just expect parents to update us when they have change of address and phone number. And then the last thing was updated in the clinic and health service section by our corporation nurse, Mrs. Rainey. Sports physical language removes, since we now have final forms. The immunization fee updated from $8 to $10 per the health department rates. And then the meningococcal vaccine requirement clarified, which is just 1 dose by 6th grade. So those were our major changes that we had. Any questions?
No questions. Thank you, Mrs. Yarger. Mrs. Rogers.
Good evening. Again, I'm Stephanie Rogers, Assistant Principal from Huntington North. And for the handbook at the high school level, we worked as an administrative team to kind of dive in and see what changes we needed to make this school year. Because we made some overhauls over the past couple of years, we had just minimal changes that would be made. So our changes are going to focus on clarity, alignment, and updated procedures. So on pages 11 and 12, you'll see that the civil rights compliance and non-discrimination section was amended to reflect updates from special education. And again, the revised language is intended to increase awareness for students and parents regarding the school's anti-discrimination obligations, including references to individuals with disabilities and complaint procedures. As part of this update, we're also moving this language related to disciplining students with disabilities away from the discipline section, and we're moving it to the area of civil rights compliance and non-discrimination per the recommendation of the Director of Special Education, Beth Husband. There were additional procedural updates that included the removal of language prohibiting glass containers or soft drinks during breakfast and lunch. We have students who do carry glass water bottles and things like that.
Updates to the student media release language to reflect that this is also done through the online registration process, so there's no longer a need for a physical signature. And the addition of appropriate use of the attendance code for field trips and school-sponsored events as we work to shore up our usage for the various attendance codes that we have at this time. There were attendance and classroom-related clarifications that were made. They include removing the prearranged absences portion and family vacations from the makeup work section. Students are still able to make up work, but we will not set these as prearranged absences moving forward. We will just list them as a general absence that's approved by a parent. We're clarifying first period tardy, sorry, I put period and tardy together for party. Those consequences are now assigned by teachers, so a tardy to school is still assigned by the attendance office, whereas a tardy to the first period class is going to be assigned by that teacher. Updating morning procedures indicating that students no longer eat in our cafeteria before the tardy bell is the final one in that area. For dress code, we have refined and added clarification regarding headscarves. We've had some issues this year regarding that, where we wanted to make sure we were clear on what our expectations were at the high school level, as well as face paint and heavy theatrical makeup during the academic day. It's a new one for us as well. Other edits included the removal of duplicated language regarding minimum class enrollment. We had that actually listed about a page apart, and it was the exact same paragraph, so we just removed the second one. We updated the list of clubs and organizations with the addition of disc golf this year, and the removal of the JAG program and KBF. And then we updated the secondary instructional device agreement to reflect that all acknowledgements are now completed, again, through the online registration rather than the physical signatures that you see in the handbook. So overall, these are the changes that we have created for the high school level. Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions from the board? Thank you very much, Mrs. Rogers.
Thank you.
A reminder, this is our first reading, and it will come back on February the 23rd for second reading and possible approval by the board. Thank you, ladies. I encourage the public and the board to review in the next couple of weeks so that we are ready for that second reading.
Ladies, thank you for your leadership and all stakeholders and our administrative team that were a part of those changes, and we thank you for that. Mrs. Kitchen, now talk to us about our High Ability Program Handbook that you, as one of our High Ability coordinators in our district, have worked to put together for us, and again, a first read.
So, good evening again, and this is, of course, a first read. This handbook has been a labor of love as well, long time coming, and so this would be our updated High Ability Handbook. This would also be found on the website for anyone that is per IDOE recommendations and by code. This talks a little bit about our High Ability Program, our broad-based planning committee, our statement and our goals. The state did, on page 5, I do need to change, the state did change a requirement for COGAT to go to 4th grade instead of 5th grade, so that is something I need to change for the second read, but I need to change that on page 5. And this is, and page 6. This has just been a labor of love. All the we have high ability coordinators. We have 6 elementary, and then we have 2 in the middle school, and then Lynn Brown helps us oversee at the high school as well. And it just outlines our high ability program and what we offer to those students.
How many students do we have in high ability programs right now? Do you know?
Well, we have quite a few, because if you think about the middle school and high school, they have accelerated programs and then differentiate those pieces. So each year we also have to right size our high ability programs, and so to give you an exact number, I can't give you that at this
but
point.
I guess my question then is there a review then every year of who
Correct.
qualifies? Oh, I see.
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
Any further questions for Mrs. Kitchen? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And again, for our second read then, will be February 23rd, where we'll be asking for your approval and vote on those handbooks and the High Ability Program handbook. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peters. We're going to move on to item E, 1 through 7, the consent agenda. Mr. Brimberry.
Board, I appreciate your consideration and action item for the consent agenda tonight. Before I get to that, I want to thank the three ladies, our administrators, for coming. They put in a lot of work on these things, and it's no easy task, so I appreciate you being here tonight and all the work. You certainly don't have to stay to the very end of this, and appreciate all your attendance tonight. Several things on the consent agenda. I want to draw attention to a few of them. Mr. Peters, could you talk about number 5 on adjunct teacher agreements, please?
Absolutely. We're bringing to you, there are 6 currently here in the administrative content. These are our adjunct teachers, and what we're doing is we have readjusted the MOU and their teacher agreement that reflects the increase in their beginning teacher salary as approved in the 2025-27 HCCS, HCTA teacher contract. Their last MOU stated that that beginning salary was going to be $42,500, and that increase has changed to $45,000. So these 6 right here show that change. We also have another adjunct teacher, but December the 15th, you approved her agreement, and that was reflected at the increase of $45,000, so that's why her name is not on there. So total in the district, we have 7 adjunct teachers in the district, and so we're just asking for your approval to change with that increase in their MOU and agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Peters. Questions for Jay on that before we move on to a couple other items? Very good. We once again received an unbelievable amount of generous donations to Andrews Elementary School, Flint Springs, Lincoln, Roanoke, Salamone, Crestview, Riverview, Huntington North, and the Learning Center. I know you've had time to review all of those. I do want to draw attention to a couple of them that are just an anonymous donor at Salamone is donating $15,000 to be used to reduce the strain of purchasing materials and supplies for students. Just a unbelievable amount of caring people in our community that give forward. Also want to draw attention to Riverview Middle School is requesting permission to accept a donation amount of $4,753.48 from Jeanette Tudor to be used to support 6th grade ELA program. Another unbelievably kind and thoughtful donation to our school system. Huntington North requests permission to accept multiple donations and a grant, and the Learning Center, as you can see. I would ask Mr. Allen and the board for your consideration to make sure that we are action item on all of the consent agenda items. I don't want to not draw attention to all of the items, but Huntington Community Schools is so blessed on their donations, Mr. Allen and board, and we should never take that for granted. So for your consideration, items 1 through 7.
Thank you, Mr. Brimberry. I'll entertain a motion, reference the items on the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Melcher. Is there a second? Thank you, Mr. McClellan. Any questions or discussion prior to voting? Hearing none, let's vote on the consent agenda. I'm sorry, roll call vote.
We're working on some technical opportunities here in the background, so.
I understand.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. McClellan? Yes. Mr. Melcher?
Yes.
Mr. Wall?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller? Yes. Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Thank you, Mrs. Gray. Motion passes 6-0. We're moving on to item F1, E-rate Category 2 Project Network Equipment Refresh. Mrs. Babcock.
Yes, hello. I bring this to you because Mr. Clausen was unable to attend. He was going to present this. And so I offered to assist him in presenting this. So we're requesting permission to proceed with this RFP, which is for E-rate, updating or putting out bids to relicense our wireless network equipment and our aging equipment. Every educational facility should receive benefit or will receive benefit from this RFP once the bids are awarded and product is delivered. And some of the old equipment will be then used in some of the other facilities within the district that does not apply for E-rate, so non-educational buildings. The project, of course, is coming from E-rate. We should be receiving funding about 80% of the project, and the installation should be expected around late summer or early fall. And so with that, I request permission, or have any questions?
So is this a reimbursement or is this a reduced invoice?
Is reduced.
Thank you. And then I do have some technical questions, but I'll ask Mr. Clausing. I won't put them up to you today.
I can always come back to you with the answers after I get with him as well.
I enjoy talking to Russ, so I'll just have a conversation with him.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Wallo. If you could just relay whatever you might learn that we might understand, that'd be great. Thanks.
I will more than happy to do that, and we'll see if anyone does.
We'll hold our breath. I'll entertain a motion, reference this item.
Make a motion to approve the RFP. Or approve, is it an advertisement? I guess that's an advertisement, right?
Yes, it is an advertisement.
Make a motion to approve the advertisement of the RFP.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Miller. Any further questions or comments before we vote?
Last question. So will this come back for us before it actually gets approved then? Okay.
Yes, it will. This is just permission to proceed. And in fact, it was supposed to go out on the 27th. So we just went ahead with it for transparency's sake to put it in front of you so you're aware of this. And then we'll come back later on once the bids have been awarded. To get them awarded by the board.
Thank you, Mrs. Babcock. Any further questions? We'll do a roll call vote.
Try that again. Mr. McClellan? Mr. Melcher?
Yes.
Mr. Wall?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Thank you, Mrs. Wall. Mrs. Gray. The vote passes 6-0. Moving on to G1 Superintendent Search Update. I'd like to just give everyone a quick update on the superintendent search. The community survey ended on January 23rd, and we ended up with over 300 responses. The board wishes to thank those that took part in the survey and shared their thoughts. We will receive a report on those responses sometime this week. Also, the deadline for candidates to apply for the superintendent position ended on February 1st. The board will begin to individually evaluate the applications and resumes for this week, and we'll meet as a group in an executive session for discussion next week. The board needs to mention how much we appreciate the assistance from ISBA and their representative, Steve Horton. We still have a lot to do, but we're sticking to our timeline and excited to move on to the next steps. As we work through the process, the board will continue to provide updates on the status of our search for a permanent superintendent. Finally, during this transition, we know there are a lot of people stepping up to make sure the business of running HCCS is handled every day. And we, the board, just wish to extend our sincere gratitude for all your efforts. We know that you don't ask for thanks, but we appreciate it. We feel we need to at least tell you guys how much we do. Anybody else have anything to add? Alrighty, then we'll move on to item H1, items of discussion by board members. Anybody got anything they'd like to add?
Just like to thank Cindy Gray and the Learning Center for the opportunity to host the District 3 school board members last Friday. We had members from DeKalb, Southwest Allen, Norwell, and Whitco. School board members from there came and just had a great discussion about school board issues and things that are happening in everyone's district. Also got to show off the Learning Center, and it was a pleasure to be able to host that. And I really appreciate the extra work that Cindy and the Learning Center did to be able to facilitate that. So thank you.
Mr.
Mr.
Peters, I think you have something for us?
Mr. Allen, if I could just take a few minutes and share with you, last week we had 5 days of synchronous learning, and if I could just share with you just some highlights, and I have to start out, and I thank Mrs. Gray. We're going to start out with some fun facts, some factoids. What were you doing in 2013, 2014? So just stop and pause and reflect for a second. Our public can do the same thing. What was I doing in 2013, 2014? We missed 4 days in a row, January of 2014. We also missed 4 days in a row in February of 2014. We had a waiver day from the DOE, gave us that. In the calendar, we had makeup days that were in the calendar, and I know where I was at. I remember we had extended school days to make up the time, and kids would stay and staff would stay till 4:30, and we did that for several weeks to make that happen. And so thank you, Cindy, for pulling that for me. But I just wanted to kind of share with you what that looks like. I hope that you found it useful, sharing the data from our tech team. They do an awesome job in fielding all the calls that we get from parents. If you saw, it started to decrease the more that we were doing synchronous learning. But teacher prep is from 8 o'clock to 10 a.m. And that's standard for both elementary and secondary. Then live instruction begins, both areas, at 10 o'clock. For elementary, it's from 10 to 11:30. They take a lunch break from 11:30 to 12:30. We go back with live instruction, 12:30 to 1:30. And then office hours for elementary teachers are 1:30 to 4. At the secondary level, live instruction begins at 10 o'clock. They have 22-minute class periods, and they have those 7 periods in their day. Their lunch is around 12:10 to 1:10, and then they also have office hours from 2 to 4 o'clock. And that happened every day. But House Bill 1093, guys, just to share with you, requires virtual days to be synchronous learning for 3 hours for secondary, 6 through 12, and 2.5 for elementary, K-5. So let me just share. Here's some elementary bullet points. They had online spirit days like Crazy Hat Day. They asked silly and fun would-you-rather questions during morning meetings that students couldn't resist sharing about. They played Boggle as a class and related it to morphology studies. Impact teachers also joined in with the classroom teacher to make it easier for our primary students to eliminate the need of getting on and getting off and switching classrooms. Teachers, principals, counselors all reached out to families that were not in attendance. Again, we wanted our kids to know that we missed them and that we were concerned about them if they didn't come on. In secondary, students working in breakout groups to problem solve complex text. Teachers providing homework support after the 2 o'clock to assist students who were struggling with an individual support and needed that. Teachers including guest speakers in that virtual setting so students were able to have the same experience they would have had on that day in the classroom. Teachers also on the fly using props, hats, found in their homes, even wigs to bring lessons alive in a virtual setting. And again, administrators from both levels popping in and out of those lessons to see what teachers were doing. Again, a team effort, did a great job. And again, it's a testament to our teachers how engaged our students were. 97% attendance overall is pretty remarkable. And I was talking to one administrator, and she was not happy with her attendance. And it was 90 plus, and I said, oh my, don't ruin my joy. I was happy. If we could have got 90%, I would have been truly happy with that. And you can see what it was. It was way over that. So hats off to our administrators, our teachers, our kiddos, our parents. Was really happy with that. So just want to give you a little update.
Mr. Peters, I just want to say I have a first grader, a second grader, and a seventh grader, my grandchildren, and I made a point to ask them, what do you think? How was school? And our teachers are unbelievably good. I mean, they're so gifted and so talented and so much a part of these kids' lives. They couldn't talk enough about what a great experience they had online. And that is, I don't know if that's any different than what it's been, but 4 days in a row is quite a stretch. And they were excited to go back to school. I mean, don't get me wrong, they really were, but God bless our teachers, and just well done. I mean, just amazing what they do.
And Mr. Allen, I'd like to do a shout out to Mr. Brimberg. He doesn't know I'm going to say this, but I know the phone calls he received, the research that he did, and above all, you know, when you talk about every student every day, safety first. And you'll hear that come from Mr. Brimberry's mouth. I heard it several times last week. Our kids have got to be safe. We're not going to take chances. And I appreciate that about him and his leadership in making those calls. Very difficult.
Mr. Allen, board community, I would also like to add, Mr. Peters, now you took me down memory lane in 13 and 14. I got to experience that as superintendent in another district for those days as well. And so I appreciate the reminisce there. I have so many people that we need to draw attention to. We want our kids in school. Our teachers want our kids in school. We miss our kids when they're not in school. The best day for us is to have all our kids present in our classrooms and be able to interact with them. But when we do have weather, and this winter, of course, has been a little bit larger challenge than we're used to around here, but it's been everywhere in the north to be, and all the way down to Evansville as well. They had a foot of snow. So I would tell you there's a lot of people that communicate with me and communicate frequently to make sure the decision-making is and our action plan goes well. And I want to thank Mr. Fuller from the EMA. Mr. Allen, he has been invaluable to me in our communication. I want to thank our commissioners. These jobs are not easy that they do. And what I heard from the Huntington community, although not everyone will agree, and that's certainly fine, is thank you for taking care of making sure our kids are safe in Huntington County. Thank you to the people making these decisions. Thank you for those who communicate with your interim superintendent, early and often, I might add. Vanessa Fields is unbelievably, the amount of time she puts in. I believe she's been with us 12 years, but she's out there. When I'm out there at 10 till 4, she's already been on the road. She's already talking to me. She's already making sure we're looking at things. That starts early. It also goes into the evening because, as you know, our job is to, if we can let our parents and kids know the night before because we know things in terms of what school's going to look like, we will. Well, that takes Vanessa and a team of people on the road making sure in the evenings before we communicate. I want to thank Rich Hurdle. When he's not sure if we're going to open, everything gets done in the parking lots from Amores and some of our other contractors to the sidewalks. Beth Clark, it'll be done, Mr. Brimberry. If we have a chance to go on delay, these sidewalks will be ready. There's a lot of people in the buildings that take pride in making sure that this is done well. And quite frankly, our kids, our teachers, have been amazing through this. I check on them too. I pop in those things. They think I don't know how to do that, but I do. And I pop in and I saw high engagement. Mr. Peters, I saw fun things happening in an educational environment in elementary. I saw high engagement in middle school and them grinding right through some of the stuff that we've got to cover. And I saw one of the days we were over 98% in the high school in terms of kids logged on, which is an extraordinary because I get to see other districts' percentages, and Huntington's doing very well comparatively. I also want to thank our tech team. They are amazing. They are amazing people, and they take it very serious to solve people's issues with our grandparents and our kids that call and say, how do I do this? So there's a lot of things that go into this. I want to thank Cindy Gray. She talks every time I talk. This lady to my left is involved in those conversations with our community to make sure as the interim that no step gets missed. And I want to thank her. And quite frankly, the last group that needs to be thanked is the school board. I know you hear from a lot of different views. But with Chuck Brimberry, what you're going to get during the interim process is it will be kids first, regardless of any other thoughts. And their safety will be taken care of, number one. And after that, we will educate them in the best manner we can on that day. So I appreciate the school board's support during those times. Let's hope we turn the corner on some positive weather. And Mr. Peters, you've been amazing. But I wanted to take time, Mr. Allen, to explain to our community the process, our data, but also there's an awful lot of people working hard. So, and I think there's a lot of parents that reached out to me. I mean, by the dozens to say thanks for your communication early and often during this process. So I appreciate that. I know this went longer tonight at the end, but I just felt like with us being off several days, it needed to be said.
Thank you, Mr. Brimberry. I agree. a lot happened in the last week that's not normal. So appreciate your efforts very much. Anything else? Then we'll move on to item I1. Anyone wish to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. McClellan. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.